All right, we're continuing in Bahjat An-NaDHar. Over 400 questions and answers in the book of obligatory knowledge. We've reached question 49. The author says, speak about paradise. My answer is paradise is the place where the believers go in the afterlife to live forever as reward for their dying as Muslims and reward for their good deeds. So that's very bare answer there. I'm sure the answer here has more details than that. So the answer says here, paradise is the place of peace. Darus Salam. Okay. Darus Salam, the abode of peace. I was going to say that. What does Darus Salam mean, though? Darus Salam could mean the abode of the Salams, because the believers are saying, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. Allah says, Illa qilan salaman salama. What they hear is salam, salam. Or Darus Salam could mean God's abode, not a place where God resides, no. Rather, the place that he owns, the special place. Because one of the names of Allah is As-Salam, one of the 99 names. But okay, so they said paradise is the place of peace. Yes, it is already created. Thus, it exists now. Here, if you're going to use semicolon, remove thus. It is already created. It exists now. Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Al-Imran, verse 133, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَّبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It means rush to forgiveness. Rush for forgiveness from your Lord and for paradise that is as wide as are the heavens and earth, which has been prepared for the pious ones. So, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ, rush to forgiveness, مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ, from your Lord, وَجَنَّةٍ, and to a garden. So very literal meaning of Jannah is garden. We usually say paradise. A lot of times I say the garden with a capital G. Here is indefinite. Rush to a garden, which is the garden. What's the description of this garden? عرضها السماوات والأرض أعدت للمتقين. It is as wide as heavens and earth. This means even wider. It is as wide as heavens and earth means even wider than heavens and earth. Or if you want, it is as wide as heavens and earth. In fact, even wider. وَعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It is prepared for the God-fearing. Al-Muttaqeen. So we can check the tafsir of Al-Muttaqeen here. It says here, the pious ones. But Al-Muttaqeen doesn't always mean the pious ones. What else can it mean? Anyone know? What could Muttaqeen mean other than the pious ones? Why? 4.
God-fearing ones,
3.
the God-fearing one shit.
2. 1. Al-Muttaqeen could mean those who avoided blasphemy. Even, I mean, other than God-fearing. Other than pious or God-fearing could mean those who avoided blasphemy. In a sense, they are God-fearing, meaning they feared God enough to avoid blasphemy. Doesn't mean they were pious, though. What's an example of that? Allah says, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَسَأَكْتُبُهَا لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ. My mercy encompasses everything, God says, meaning in this life. And I shall reserve it for those who had taqwa. Here it means those who avoided blasphemy. Taqwa, in a literal sense, is avoiding something or bewaring of something. The answerer said, paradise shall remain eternally without an end. Okay. The word eternal works here. We usually use the word eternal to mean without a beginning, but it does mean without an end. The word eternal has three meanings. Could mean without a beginning, could mean without a beginning or end, and it could mean without an end. So they're using it here to mean without an end. Allah Ta'ala said in Surah An-Nisa, verse 13. Yani, I think this doesn't need to be a new line, but this goes here without starting a new line. وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ يُدْخِلْهُ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا وَذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. And whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, this means believes in. Obeys here means believes in. Allah and His Messenger will be admitted to gardens in paradise. And that's why paradise is called Al-Jannah, because it's full of gardens, as if it is one huge garden, under which rivers flow. Under those gardens means on the ground, not under the ground. Under the gardens on the ground, meaning the plants grow up out of the ground. So beneath all the foliage on the ground, there are streams. And yeah, and it says rivers here because anha, maybe streams is fine word. Khalidina fiha, remaining eternally therein, meaning everlastingly. وَذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. That will be the great success, or it is. That is the great success. Most of its people are from the poor, or if you want, are those who were poor. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, دخلت الجنة فرأيت أكثر أهلها الفقراء. I entered paradise. I entered the garden and saw that most of its people are the poor. Meaning, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he literally entered paradise. That's part of the miracle of Al-Isra wal Mi'raj. And Allah created for him a visual, an image of what it would be like, what life there would be like. While there wasn't really anyone there, Allah created for him what it would be like, to see what it would be like. In it, in the garden, in paradise, Allah prepared for His pious slaves what no eye has ever seen, what no ear has ever heard, and what no human heart has ever thought of. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah said, أعددت لعبادي الصالحين ما لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت ولا خطر على قلب بشر. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah said, I have prepared. So Allah said, here, I have prepared for my pious slaves things no eye has ever seen. Things here is map. So usually I say what? I have prepared what no eye has ever seen. But this is fine. No ear has ever heard of or heard, just heard. And nobody has ever thought of. Okay. Here. This sentence, what no human heart has ever thought of, is closer to what's in the hadith than this sentence, and nobody has ever heard of, because the hadith has the word qalb. وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ, and has never crossed any human's heart. Narrated by Al-Bukhari. So then what do you call this kind of hadith? Who can remind us? What do you call this kind of hadith?
That's Qudsi Hadith.
Qudsi, correct. Hadithun Qudsi, which basically means a holy hadith, as opposed to Hadithun Nabawi, a prophetic hadith. Okay. MashaAllah. I think this is a good answer, because the question is speak about paradise, so it's open. Might be said here that this answer is a little bit long, but there's so much to say about paradise. And that's why I even said about my own answer, that's a really short answer. Let's see what's here. So I don't really have a problem with this answer personally. There's so much to say. Let's add a few details, inshallah ta'ala. So we use this English word paradise, and we already said here. The literal meaning of al-Jannah is the garden with capital G. So then this word paradise, it works, it does work, but in the garden, there's a special place called Firdaus. And if you notice, this word sounds, qad yuqal, suspiciously familiar to paradise, Firdaus. Firdaus, what is Firdaus? Firdaus is the center of the garden and the highest part of the garden and the greatest part of the garden. So if we want to just translate these words very literally, there's the garden, and within the garden, there's paradise, which is the interior of the garden, the centermost part of the garden and the highest part. Now, another English word that we can use is the word heaven. But maybe a lot of people understand from the word heaven something that's not physical and only spiritual. So if I were to use the word heaven, I would mention a caveat, as they say. I mean, I would just clarify something. I would say heaven, but it's real. It's physical. When I say real, means it's physical. It's not just spiritual. Also, the word heaven can mean sky in English. So heaven can be the garden, and heaven can be the sky itself. You might say, ah, the missile flew through the heaven. I could say the bird, but you know, or you could put an S on there. Through the heavens, meaning in the sky. Okay, what else? Darus Salam, I told you the different ways you can interpret the expression Darus Salam. It's already created, yes, it has 8 gates. One of those gates is called Al Rayyan. That's where the people who used to fast in the dunya enter through. The people of paradise are 60 cubits tall. That's 90 feet tall. Yani Allah gives us new bodies there. May Allah make us amongst the people of the garden. Any of you who have seen the Prophet in your dreams, alayhi salatu wassalam, then know that you got the good news of dying as a Muslim and entering paradise. If you have yet to see the Prophet in your dreams, alayhi salatu wassalam, then ask Allah to show him to you in your dreams and love him more. Love the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam more, because a person dreams about what's on his mind or what's in his heart. Also, give people the shahada. For someone to embrace Islam because of you is a reason for you to enter paradise. But I heard once that this means, and that one died as a Muslim. So I don't know if that part is really a condition. That you made the person embrace Islam and he died as a Muslim, then you are guaranteed to enter paradise. Or it's enough just to make him embrace Islam. You can check that, inshallah ta'ala. Recite Ayatul Kursi after every obligatory prayer. Subhanallah. The fact that some people don't do that, although they know about it, is just a reminder that Allah guides whomever He wills to whatever He wills. Because one person would hear, what? Recite Ayatul Kursi after every prayer, you will enter paradise? Khalas, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. And then really does it. He doesn't leave it out. Another person would hear and say, okay. He just doesn't do it. Allah guides whomever He wills to whatever He wills. And what else? Paradise. It has a wall around it. It's very wide. The Sheikh said thousands of times wider than hell. There's buildings in there, houses, castles, palaces, tents even. Furniture, animals, food, fruits. The people eat in there meat. They have drinks. They drink from cups. They wear silk. They wear sandals. They have jewelry. Their bodies are hairless except for the hair of their head and their eyebrows and their eyelashes. The women wear something on their heads that does not conceal the beauty of their hair. But when they wear it, it increases their beauty. So that thing that they wear, it's like what they wear in the dunya in a way, and it's unlike it in another way. How is it unlike it? Because what they wear in this world hides the beauty of their hair. How is it like it? But when they put it on, it increases their beauty. Subhanallah. What else? Also, there's spouses in paradise, and the people are intimate there. And the woman will, after being intimate, Allah will restore her virginity. So she will always be a virgin. There are servants there, non-human servants there, and not jinn also. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi.
Yeah. Assalamu shit.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
What about the Muslims then?
They will be in paradise also.
Okay.
It is said that they won't see the humans and the humans will see them. The reverse of this life. But you don't have to believe that. It was said. Allah knows if it's true or not. MashaAllah. And you can do whatever you want to do there. If you want to sit on some furniture, it will bend down for you so you can sit upon it. You want to eat from the tree, it will bend for you. All you have to do is want to. Like, for example, do you want to raise your hand? Raise your hand. You can raise it. You didn't create that. Who created for you raising your hand when you wanted to? Allah. Like this. You want to sit in the chair? It will bend down for you. You want to eat from the tree? It will bend for you. Or even if you want, the fruit will just come to your mouth. You don't have to even reach for it.
Shay, I do have another question.
Yes.
The non-mukallaf who won't be inside a Jannah, be outside of it, what would be their enjoyment?
Ah. So the kafir, you mean the kafir who died without being accountable,
Yes.
and therefore he enters paradise. What's his enjoyment? I don't know. Well, I said to one brother, he asked me too. I said, Inshallah, if we go there, let's go see those guys. We'll see. Inshallah, we'll get together. We'll go see what those guys are doing over there. And let me clarify for those who are listening what the brother means by they're not, they are outside of paradise, meaning on the outskirts. They're inside the wall of paradise. They're in paradise, but not in the interior. They're on the outside or the outskirts of paradise. The believers are on the inside where everything's happening.
Thanks for answering, Shay.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're welcome. What else here? It says we have the ayah here. ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. There's rivers or streams in paradise. Rivers of milk, rivers of honey, rivers of water, rivers of wine, non-intoxicating wine. Milk that's not from cows, honey that's not from bees. Allah says about that, the rivers of milk, its flavor doesn't change. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. So imagine, you drink from it, it's so delicious. Say, man, let me get some more of that. You drink it again, it's delicious still. It just stays delicious. Subhanallah. Most of its people are from the poor, yes. And most of its people are from the nation of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for hell, most of its people are women. But most of the people in paradise are women too. So then most of the people are women. Sometimes the kuffar they say half of the population are men and half the population are women. There are more women than there are men. Anything else? Yes. Here, the Prophet said that Allah said, I have prepared for my pious slaves what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what has never crossed anyone's mind. Those are the awliya. Everyone there is 33 years old. Everyone there is at least as beautiful as Yusuf. How beautiful was Yusuf for his beauty to be the standard of paradise? Subhanallah. Okay. Any question here? Okay. Let's move on to the next question then. The author says, speak about seeing Allah Ta'ala with one's eye in the hereafter. All right. So my answer, hold on. It says, you said most of the people of paradise are women. Yes, that's correct. Because every man in paradise will have more than one wife. So that means most of the people of paradise are women. And also, none of the people have any problems with each other. Allah not only gives the people new bodies, but He also purifies their souls. Will be the same souls you have now, new body. Kad you call, you get an upgrade. May Allah make us amongst them. Subhanallah. How happy would you be to be in paradise? Strong body. It's so nice. MashaAllah. Whether you are a man or a woman. Because you know the human being, if he has a nice body, he likes that. He will see himself. Now in this world, if he sees he has a nice body, he'll say, oh, look at me. But in paradise, the people's their souls will be purified. So you won't be conceited. And the women won't have any problems with each other, and the men won't have any problems with each other. And any Muslims who are enemies in this lifetime in paradise, they will be brothers. No problems with each other. And the people, the Muslims who were in hell will come out of there eventually and enter paradise and never leave out of there. The people of paradise never leave there. And there's nothing disgusting in paradise. Yani myself is not letting me move on before I mention this for you. Since I mentioned for you that the spouses will be intimate in paradise and Allah will restore the woman's virginity, this will be without any disgusting fluids. There's nothing disgusting in paradise. Not even the snot that runs from the nose doesn't exist there. And the people, they don't urinate or defecate, and rather they sweat. And their sweat is like musk. All right, so question 50. Speak about seeing Allah Ta'ala with one's eye in the hereafter. So my answer would be, in the afterlife, we must believe that the believers will see Allah in paradise. They will see Him without Him having a shape or form or a color, and without Him being in a place. So they don't have to look into any direction to see Him. And they will not be confused about what they see. And this is the greatest pleasure of paradise. Like, that's my answer there. This answer does not involve any debate or technical details. Although, if we want to delve into this topic, it becomes very scientific and intellectual. The answer that's here is, one must also believe in the believers seeing Allah Ta'ala with the eye in the hereafter. That means a literal sight or sighting. They will see Allah with their eyes while they are in paradise. That's what Abu Hanifa said. يَرَاهُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَهُمْ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. Exactly. The believers shall see Him while they are in the garden. بِأَعْيُنِ رُؤُوسِهِمْ, with the eyes of their heads, he said. Rahimahullah. Without Him having a form or being in a place or a direction. Yes. I.e., without Him resembling any of the creation. And the scholars, they have some talk here. What we learned is the strong saying is, it is not impossible to see other things while you see Allah. That one would see Allah in paradise, yani whenever Allah makes him see Him. Not always seeing Allah. At times, Allah makes their visions realize Him. Then they will see Him for however long Allah willed for them to see Him, until the next time they see Him. And what's stronger is that this would not prevent them from seeing something else also. And some said, and at least one scholar said, when they see Allah, they won't see anything else. Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Al-Qiyamah, verses 22 and 23, وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. Some faces that day will be radiant, comma, looking at their Lord. Okay. Faces, yani some faces, yes, correct. That day means in the afterlife, not judgment day before entering paradise, as far as they're seeing God is concerned. Not as far as the faces being radiant is concerned, meaning the faces will be radiant on judgment day before they enter paradise, shining like the moon, literally. But they're seeing their Lord on that day means in the afterlife, after they enter paradise. Looking at their Lord, no, personally, I like to just say seeing. Because I feel like looking at has the meaning of a direction or gives the impression of a direction. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But does look like that's the Arabic though. Ila rabbiha nazira, ay naziratun ila rabbiha, looking at their Lord, meaning seeing him. Ila rabbiha nazira, at their Lord, looking. Yani seeing. So what I mean to say is, I would replace both of those words, looking at, with one word, seeing. Allah knows best. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Innakum satarawna rabbakum yawm al-qiyamah kama tarawna al-qamara laylat al-badr la tudammuna fi ru'yatih." There's no shadda written here. There's more than one version of this hadith. Some have on the meme, some have shadda on the meme, some don't. Some have different haraka on the first letter. Taba, moon, tuba, moon. Rawahu Muslim. Muslim narrated this hadith, which means you will see your Lord on the day of judgment, meaning in the afterlife. Yani, I asked about that just to be sure. So, what's confirmed for me and for whom I asked is like what Abu Hanifa said. يَرَاهُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَهُمْ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. The believers will see him while they are in the garden. So, the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, you will see your Lord on the day of judgment without any doubt. Here, without any doubt is in meaning here, not that he said that. Bila shak, bila raib. That's not in the words of the hadith. That's in the meaning. You will see your Lord on the day of judgment as you have no doubt in seeing the moon on the night when it is full. Narrated by Imam Muslim. And in this part of the hadith here is not translated. Maybe they forgot. Whoever was translating forgot, or maybe didn't know what to put there, so it didn't comment. It means without crowding together to see him. And the meaning of not having a doubt is in the hadith, not the wording of not having a doubt, the meaning of not having a doubt. That's the meaning of the comparison that's in the hadith. There is a comparison in the hadith, but it's not a comparison of Allah to the creations. Rather, it's a comparison of the creations seeing to the creation's seeing. Yani, you have something here. You have a seer, and you have a sighting, yani, seeing, and you have something seen. So you have one in this life, and you have one in the afterlife. One in this life, one in the afterlife. A seer in this life, a seer in the afterlife. A sighting in this life, a sighting in the afterlife. Something seen in this life, something seen in the afterlife. So, what's being compared here in this hadith is comparing the sighting to the sighting. Meaning, you are the seer. You, yeah. What's the seen thing in the first one? The moon. What's the seen thing in the second one? God. So we're not comparing the seen to the seen. The prophet, that is not comparing the seen to the seen. He's comparing the sighting to the sighting. So the sighting is your created attribute in both cases, whether in this life or in the hereafter. So your created sighting of the moon in this hadith is being compared to your created sighting of God. God's not created. Your seeing is created because you're a creation. Your created sighting of the moon is being compared to your created sighting of God, of the uncreated God. Your created sighting of the created moon is being compared to your created sighting of the uncreated God. That's the meaning of kama taron al-qamar, like you see the moon. You will see your Lord like you see the moon. Not that your Lord is like the moon, rather your seeing is like the seeing. And what is the commonality between each of those seeings or sightings? What do they have in common? Lack of doubt. Because if you saw the moon on the night of the full moon, you won't say, what is that? What is that brilliant circle in the sky at nighttime? You will be sure about what you see. So likewise, when you see God in the afterlife, you won't say, what am I seeing? Rather, you will have no doubt about what you are seeing. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not liken Allah to the moon. Okay, now it's going to say all of what I just said to you. Rather, our seeing of Allah will be with total certainty, without any doubt, just as we have no doubt when we see the full moon in the night sky. Imam Abu Hanifa explicitly spoke about this in his book Al-Fiqh al-Akbar, and many scholars. Yani, any book of Aqidah that goes into most of the points that we believe in, they're going to mention this case. As opposed to the books of Aqidah that only talk about the attributes of Allah, for example. Or the books of Aqidah that only elaborate on the meaning of the Shahada. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Might not mention this. But the ones that go into the various points of Aqidah, we believe in this, and we believe in this, and we believe in this, and we believe in this, like Tahawi, for example, they will mention this. Nasafi, and other books. Abu Hanifa said, it said what means. You don't need what means here, even though he didn't say it in English. If you want to say what means because you're translating, you just need to do it for the Quran, not even for the hadiths. You don't have to say what means, because it's permissible to narrate the hadiths by meaning. The Sahaba weren't saying, the Prophet said what means. They just said, the Prophet said. And then they said what it means. Then they said what means what he said. And if that's permissible for the Prophet, it's going to be permissible for someone less than him. Abu Hanifa said, Allah Ta'ala is seen in the hereafter. Yura, he is seen, yes, in the hereafter. The believers, Yarahu al-mu'minuna, see him. You could take out will. While they are in paradise, without any likeness, bila tashbih, wala kayfiyah, without any form or modality or mode, anyhow or way about him. Wala kamiyah, and without a quantity, that means without dimensions. وَلَا يَكُونُ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ خَلْقِهِ مَسَافَةٌ. One of my favorite quotes, and there will not be any distance between him and his creations. That's Abu Hanifa saying Allah exists without a place. وَلَا يَكُونُ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ خَلْقِهِ مَسَافَةٌ. There will not be any distance between him and his creations. Wallahu a'lam. We'll stop there. Do you have a question I can answer for you? The word taqwa. The taqwa means without an H, just taqwa. There's alif there. Taqwa. It means avoiding something, bewaring of something. Like when the Prophet said, "Ittaqur riya," have taqwa from insincerity. It means beware of it. In some spots in the Quran, the taqwa is avoiding a sin. Qareeb, you're welcome. Something crosses my mind here, too, right before we go. Don't you know how the kuffar, they say, what you want to go to heaven? You Muslims, you want to go to paradise so you can have 70 virgins? 70 virgins? So they make fun of that. And they say, well, you want to go to paradise so you can have sex? So what do you say to someone if you needed to say to him? What do you think paradise is supposed to be? That's what I'd say to him. How should paradise be? Was just going on a picnic or what? It's like, barakallahu fikum.